Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about how to make a killing as a webcam model in the next 1 to 5 years. We're going to look at understanding the economy, the industry shifts, and how to position yourself to win. So we're going to do this using a top-down analysis approach. So we're going to zoom all the way out and start by looking at the economy level and the macro forces shaping the next 1 to 5 years. Then we're going to zoom down one level further and look at the industry and why webcam modeling is perfectly positioned for opportunity. Then we're going to go down another level and we're going to look at the producer level and how creators can take advantage of this and win. So on the left, you can see a traditional style top-down approach. We're going to be using this approach, but we're going to apply it to the webcam modeling industry, with the companies in this case being the webcam models themselves. So the objective of this video is to understand why now is the perfect time to take a long position on the industry as a whole, and then how to position yourself within that to win and, most importantly, get rich. So why does this analysis matter? So most creators only look at the industry from their own point of view, and day to day, they look at it from their own subjective point of view without ever zooming out and seeing the objective full picture. So they focus on things like their daily earnings, what other creators and models are doing, and short-term day-to-day changes on their platform or platforms. So as I said, very few understand the bigger picture. So the world is changing fast, and these changes directly impact the creator industry. And essentially, if you understand what's coming, you can position yourself correctly to take advantage of it. But if you don't, then you'll get left behind, and it's as simple as that. So what we're covering, as I've said, we're going to be taking a top-down analysis style approach. We're going to look at how vice industries behave in downturns and why webcam modeling specifically outperforms them. We're going to look at supply and demand shifts, so more creators entering and more viewers entering, and how that affects things. The widening skill gap and why it creates a massive upside for early professionals, where the real money is going to be made in the next cycle, and then some strategic recommendations on how to take a long position on this industry and build a 6 to 7 figure career and exit wealthy over the next 1 to 5 years. So the emphasis being on exiting wealthy, because I imagine I can speak for the majority of creators when I say this isn't an industry they want to be in for the next 10, 20, 30 years. It's something where they want to get in, make a load of money, and get out, which is why the emphasis is on exit wealthy. Okay, so let's start by zooming out and taking a look at the macro environment as a whole to get a feel for where things are headed over the next 1 to 5 years. So where the world is heading, what's the direction of the world right now? So life is getting more expensive each year. Stress and uncertainty are rising. People are going out less and staying home more. And loneliness continues to rise. People are calling it the loneliness epidemic. So these trends have been building for years and are expected to continue. So what are the forces that will make life harder? So AI is already starting to replace millions of jobs. Wages aren't keeping up with the cost of living. So real incomes have been almost flat for over a decade. The middle class is being squeezed, so higher bills, higher rents, and essentially higher everything. And people are socializing less in real life. So more isolation equals more online behavior. So how do people behave in tougher periods? So as life gets harder, people naturally shift to staying home more, cutting back on going out, looking for private escape and comfort, looking for connection online, and looking for ways to earn extra income. So this affects both sides of the webcam industry. So viewers need more emotional connection and cheap escape, and creators need extra income or new income sources. So that's the macro picture of where things are heading. So now let's zoom down one level and look at the industry and how that affects the webcam modeling industry specifically. So first of all, let's look at vice categories and vice industries and why they are recession resistant. So what are vice industries? They are the industries like alcohol, gambling, and adult entertainment. So these industries have a set of characteristics. So they don't crash when the economy gets worse, typically. They stay steady even when everything else around them slows down. And they tend to replace more expensive activities like going out, holidays, and nightlife. So in easier periods, people might be spending money on luxury items and going out, holidays, etc. But when things get harder and during tougher periods, people substitute that spending for cheaper alternatives and more easily accessible alternatives. So that's vice industries, and webcam modeling would fall under the category of adult entertainment. But webcam modeling specifically performs even better than these vice industries. So why is that? So webcam modeling outperforms because it gives people two key things. So it gives them an emotional connection, so a two-way interaction, and it gives them cheap, private, at-home escape. So the emotional connection is something that other typical vices and traditional adult entertainment cannot provide. And then for the second point, as I mentioned, it's a replacement for the other more expensive activities, which include social romantic experiences. So, as seen earlier, these needs get stronger when things are harder and life feels more stressful. So this is why webcam modeling grows faster than other devices during tough periods. So this isn't just a theory or a prediction. This has been proven time and time again. Some examples on the screen here. The most notable one being COVID in 2020. So traffic surged and webcam was described as Armageddon proof. So webcam sites consistently outperform during stressful periods. If we look at this graph here from StripChat, we can see a comparison of traffic from 2019 to 2020. Obviously, the start of 2020 being the start of the COVID pandemic, and there is a drastic difference between the site traffic between those 2 years. So, what effect does this have on the supply and demand of the industry? So, there's a dual pressure essentially that expands the market because you have creators coming in looking to supplement or replace income, and then you have viewers also coming in, and the demand increasing due to an increase of stress, loneliness, and isolation. So you've got this dual pressure on both the supply and the demand side that expands the market as a whole. So what's the combined effect of this? So essentially, it's growth plus low scale, which leaves you with a massive opportunity. So more creators will enter the space, more viewers will engage with those creators and spend money, but the skill level will stay low because most creators don't treat this profession like a business. So this is where the opportunity lies, and this creates a huge opportunity for those that do professionalize. Okay, so we understand where the macro environment is heading as a whole over the next 1 to 5 years, and we understand the effect that that has on the webcam modeling industry specifically, and the effect on the supply and demand and the overall market. So now let's go down one more level and look at the producer level and how that will affect the webcam models specifically. So essentially, the market will split into two groups. So you're going to have the top 10% and the bottom 90%. So that the earnings will be a lot less evenly distributed across the entire market. So there'll be less of everyone earns a little bit, and there'll be a lot more of the top 10% takes everything, and the bottom 90% is essentially left with nothing. So there'll be a much bigger gap and a much bigger divide between the top earners and the bottom earners. And essentially, there will be no middle class of webcam modeling. You'll either be in the top 10% making huge amounts of money, or you'll be in the bottom 90% making essentially nothing. So the top 10%, the professionals, what separates those from the bottom 90%, the amateurs? So the top 10%, they have systems, they perform with structure, they understand viewer psychology, they show up consistently, they have an exit strategy, so they know what they're working towards, they operate like a business, and they achieve unconscious competence. So the bottom 90% then, they stream randomly, they rely on luck, they have no structure, they burn out, they attract only low quality viewers, and then they never gain traction and eventually go on to quit. And they remain unconsciously incompetent. So, what do I mean by unconsciously incompetent and unconsciously competent? So, if we look at the hierarchy of competence at the bottom, we have unconscious incompetence, which is essentially when you're doing the wrong things, but you don't even know that you're doing the wrong things. And this is where 90% of webcam models operate from. Then above that, you have conscious incompetence, where you know you're doing the wrong things, so you can improve. Above that, we have conscious competence. You're consciously doing the right things. Unconscious competence, you're doing the right things, and it's essentially second nature to you. So most of the 90% here, the amateurs, they will be stuck in this stage of unconscious incompetence and never moving up the hierarchy of competence. So they'll be stuck at this level. They'll be doing the wrong things, but they won't even know that they're doing the wrong things. So therefore, they'll never climb up the hierarchy. On the other end, you'll have the top 10% who have climbed this hierarchy, who have professionalized, and they've achieved unconscious competence. So why will early movers win? Creators who start professionalizing now will have a massive advantage over the ones who don't, or the ones who put it off, or the ones who try to catch up when the market has already massively increased. So the ones who professionalize now will build loyal audiences, gain platform algorithm advantages, create stable routines, separate from amateurs, and they will go on to dominate when the supply eventually increases. So basically, now is the opportunity. Now is the time to get ahead and give yourself a good head start. So what do we do at Excite Management? Well, we help creators do exactly that, essentially. We help webcam creators build performance systems, stream consistently, understand viewer psychology, create professional routines, develop structure and workflow, and build long-term careers as independent creators. So we don't manage models, we build professionals. Our Accelerator program. So if you do want to build a consistent, professional, long-term webcam modeling career and get a head start now, then learn more about the Excite Management Accelerator. The link for that will be in the description below. I won't talk about the details of that here, but if you are interested, then click the link and you can learn everything that you need to know about that. So if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll be posting more analysis style breakdown videos of the entire webcam modeling industry, as well as specific strategies and tactics for webcam models.